Jade, before we talk about where you are now, tell us, who were you before the world learned your name?
Before the world saw Jade Lin, I was just another immigrant girl trying to decode America. I came here young, full of curiosity, but very little power. I quickly realized something most people learn too late. The world doesn't reward innocence. It rewards awareness. I worked regular jobs at first, restaurants, retail, the usual survival story. But I was always observing, always calculating. I noticed how money moved, how powerful men behaved, how attention itself had value. Jade Lin wasn't created overnight. She was engineered slowly through experience, pressure, and very intentional choices. What people see today is not an accident. It's a strategy that matured over time.
Was there a specific moment when you realized attention could be monetized?
Oh, absolutely. There's always a moment, a quiet one, when the illusion breaks. For me, it wasn't dramatic. It was subtle. I started noticing that rooms changed when certain women walked in. Conversations shifted. Offers appeared. Doors opened. And I asked myself a simple but dangerous question. What exactly is being traded here? That curiosity changed everything. I began to understand that attraction, confidence, and emotional intelligence are currencies, just like dollars. Once I saw the pattern, I couldn't unsee it. From there, it became less about emotion and more about positioning. Some people chase attention. I learned how to structure it.
People are curious. In your world, is it really about money, or is it about power disguised as money?
Money is the visible scorecard. Power is the real game. Anyone who has lived close to wealth understands this quickly. The clients who come into my world, many of them already have money. What they're often seeking is influence, control, escape, or validation. Money is simply the language we use to structure the interaction. But underneath, it's always psychology, always power dynamics. I learned early that if you only chase money, you stay replaceable. But if you understand power, how people think, what they fear, what they desire but never say out loud, then you become very difficult to ignore. My business model was never just about income. It was about positioning myself where decision makers feel understood.
Without revealing too much, what does a strong day look like financially for Jade Lin?
Let's just say this. My income doesn't follow a traditional clock. Some days are quiet by design. Other days move very fast. What matters more than the daily number is the structure behind it. Early in my journey, yes, I thought in daily terms like most hustlers do. But over time, I shifted my mindset toward leverage and selectivity. Today, fewer hours often produce more value. The real upgrade wasn't charging more. It was choosing smarter. Understanding which rooms to enter and which to decline. Financially, I'm comfortable, but more importantly, I'm intentional. Because high income without control is just a prettier version of being stuck.
You've been around powerful men. Tell me honestly, what do they fear the most when the room gets quiet?
Silence reveals people. Powerful men, despite the image, often carry very predictable fears. Many fear irrelevance more than poverty. Others fear being truly seen, not their success, but their insecurities. When the room gets quiet, the performance drops. That's when you notice who is confident and who is just well-funded. I've learned that power attracts pressure. The higher someone climbs, the fewer honest conversations they have. That's why emotional intelligence becomes such a rare and valuable skill in my world. People assume my business is physical. In reality, a lot of it is psychological presence.
If politics is the game of public power, what is your industry? Private power?
That's actually a very sharp way to frame it. Yes, politics performs power in daylight. My world often witnesses it after hours. Different stage, same human psychology. Influence doesn't turn off when the cameras stop rolling. If anything, it becomes more honest behind closed doors. I've met people who speak very differently in private than they do in public. That taught me something important. Titles are public, behavior is private. And if you really want to understand power structures, you watch what people do when there is no audience. That's where the real story usually lives.
Do you ever think about leaving this world? Or does the control it gives become addictive?
Control is seductive. I won't pretend otherwise. When you come from a background where options were limited, having leverage over your time and income feels powerful. But I'm very self-aware about cycles. Nothing in life is meant to be permanent, especially in fast money environments. I don't see my journey as something to escape from. I see it as a phase that funded my future flexibility. I invest, I plan, I build quietly outside the spotlight. Because the smartest move isn't staying in the game forever. It's knowing exactly when to evolve beyond it.
What's the biggest misconception people have when they hear the name Jade Lin?
Most people assume simplicity, where there is actually a lot of structure. They see the surface and think the story is obvious. But human decisions are rarely one-dimensional. My life, like many others, is a combination of survival, strategy, opportunity, and timing. Another misconception is that confidence equals lack of depth. In reality, many women in my position become extremely observant about economics, behavior, and risk. When your income depends on reading people accurately, you either evolve quickly or you disappear quietly. I chose to evolve.
You talk a lot about strategy. Be honest. Is love anywhere in Jade Lin's business model?
Love and business operate on very different mathematics. I keep them in separate emotional accounts. That doesn't mean I don't believe in connection. I do. But clarity protects peace. In my professional world, expectations are structured and transparent. In my personal world, I'm actually much more private and selective. The mistake many people make is mixing emotional fantasy with financial reality. I learned early that boundaries are not cold, they are protective. And anyone who moves in high-stakes environments eventually understands the value of emotional discipline.
Final question, Jade. What is the real dream now? Money, freedom, or something even more dangerous?
Money was the first milestone. Freedom became the second. But the long-term dream is autonomy, the ability to choose my environment, my projects, and eventually my pace of life. I want global mobility, quiet investments, businesses that run whether I'm present or not. Travel not as escape, but as lifestyle. People think ambition always looks loud and flashy. Mine is actually becoming more silent over time. The real luxury isn't being seen everywhere. It's having the option to disappear whenever you choose. And I'm building my life very intentionally toward that direction.